everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your guest host. Wait, your host. I'm not your guest. It's Frank. What's up? Welcome back to American Eagle Rises. Come on. Yeah, guys. You've been living under a rock, Oh my God, cash out your 401k. Run for the hills. It's tariffs. Oh, the tariffs is the big boogeyman. Quit your whining. Yeah, well, stocks didn't like it. Well, what, we'll give it a second here. What do stock market like, right? They like hearing people losing their jobs, right? That's a good thing, right? But tariffs, oh my God, let's make it so that it's, cheaper in the United States to manufacture something. So, like, heaven forbid, we could have jobs here, right? Why do people not understand this, right? They just believe whatever the hell is told to them, right? I could tell you something, right? And you, oh my God, what are you? Would never, you'll never believe it. I could tell you the truth. You will never believe it, right? But you'll believe the big lie on the TV, right? So anyway, if you don't believe what's on the TV, then hats off to you. Anyway, yeah, I'm waiting for a friend of mine to get done with his work. It's not my friend who does taxes. He probably tossing it in. He's like, I'm done for the day, man. I'm getting sick and tired of these assholes sending all this shit at the last second, man. Can you imagine that? It's like Friday for whatever, right? And it's like, oh, hey, I just gave this to you. Can you have that done tomorrow? It's like, dude, I've been waiting for this for 2 weeks. Where you been, right? And then heaven forbid you get it done right, and then, he doesn't need it for like another week and a half. Anyway, it sounds like, it's kind of like everybody's job sometimes, right? You just have these people. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about Harbor Freight. What? Yeah, Harbor Freight. Come on, guys. One of the things that I like to do, I like working on cars. I like just building stuff. I like using my hands, even though I'm getting old. I love being an engineer, but I also love being a pseudo mechanic. I call it weekend warrior, right? I don't know. I learned from my dad. He taught me how to use some of these tools, and I just took some of the basics and just went over it. I still got lots to learn. He kind of learned. He just learned by just doing it, right? I kind of learned his learning method, right? I do a lot better. You present something, right, and show something. Okay, great. I kind of got, right, but I can't. Once I do it once, it's like poof, right? It's like, hey, it totally makes sense, And some people's brains work that way. I'm pretty visual, right? But having the visual cue and then actually doing it, right? Whatever, with your hands or with your, actually doing it. That's just how I am, right? But I love tools, right? So one of the favorite places I like to go, it's almost like, I'll say how certain women, maybe most women, they like going shoe shopping or whatever. I love tool shopping, right? Hey, but at least I use most of my tools that I have. I'm gonna say, I don't know. I would have a hard time thinking of a tool that I haven't ever used. So there might be one or two, but they're not very expensive. Probably in the $5 range of something like, hey, I'll have this so that the next time I need to do that, I'll have the thing, right? But I try to always get away with not having to need super duper special tools. But now that I'm trying to have, and that's kind of like one thing that I don't think I've actually shared here on my channel. I might have alluded to it, so maybe it's not anything shocking. But one of the things I'd like to do as a side gig type of thing is, work on people's cars, right, and maybe start off small, right? Just do basic oil changes, filter changes, brake jobs, replacing brake shoes and brake pads and rotors, and I can do shocks, and there's a lot of things that I can do. Obviously, I'm not like a repair shop or whatever. I don't have anything, so I'd have to make sure that whoever I do work with them, if they want me to work on their car, I'd be like, hey, dude, like you're doing the work, even though you're paying me to do the work. You know what I mean? So like, hey, man, like this is what we're gonna do. You take full responsibility. I don't do nothing. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't know anything here, right? So anyway, here's the. Can you guys see it? I don't know. I can't see my face. But yeah, there's a Spring Black Friday at Harbor Freight, and this plate I like. I'll be like, oh, I just need to buy 5 things, right? But I like to go up and down the aisles, and dude, I could spend all day in the place, but it's like I feel so comfortable there, and I go around in there, and it feels good, right? I just see the tools, right, and some of the things like, hey man, I'd love to get some of these woodworking tools and work with wood, and or hey man, I want this, and one of the things I'm doing in my garage, the project, and I've told you guys that a few times, but if you're new to the channel, so I have a couple projects around the house, and one of them is out in my garage, and I've been meaning to do it for a while, but we kind of use this year as like a more of a heavy focus. So I'm doing a bunch of reworking, and I've done a lot of it already. But a lot of things that I'm doing in there is I'm kind of setting it up for like a little mini, like mini auto repair area. But with that said, I love spending time out there. It's like, it's hard to describe, but for me, it's almost like meditation. There's a few things that I do, and it's very, it helps, de-stress and keep, kind of just, I don't know. For me, it's great. I go walking, and I call it active meditation. My mind just kind of gets out, from really someone's like, it's probably Brian. Stop it. He might be. I don't know. It's on Facebook anyway. It might be my other buddy. He sends funny jokes and stuff. But yeah. With that said, I like going in there and I like doing projects, and it's just it's work, right? Yeah, it's a weird hobby to do work, but I really enjoy it. I don't rush anything, so it's just like, all right, I don't have to do this, and try to just go at my own pace, and I kind of go at a pretty good pace, but now that the weather's warmer, I put my dad's flag out there, and he's got all of his medals on there, so one of the things that I did enjoy, even though I didn't get a lot of time to do it, and the younger I was, I didn't quite understood it, but spending time with your dad, out in the garage, or especially like when I was making this aircraft carrier out of wood. It was a crazy project that my parents didn't. My mom, she didn't think I could do it, but my dad, I'm not sure. My dad didn't say but I'm pretty sure he's like, oh hey, he wants to learn how to cut wood and do this and that. So, he got to spend some time with me on that. So he got to show me how to use the jigsaw. He did show me how to use a circular saw, but he was like, hey, you don't use a circular saw unless I'm here, right? So that's how my dad was. Because he wanted to scare, right? He's like, he didn't want you just to, because they were dangerous, dude, right? So, but he's like, okay, you can't really cut yourself too bad with the jigsaw because it's smaller, right? Now, the circular saw was kind of big, right? So, yeah, when I'm out there, I feel like my dad's there, and I get to talk to him, and, again, it's kind of like a meditative thing. But one of the things that I want to do with the Harbor Freight, there's a couple of things, and I don't know, you guys like Harbor Freight? I will say, like 20 years ago, I'm trying to remember exactly when I kind of knew about Harbor Freight, and I'm trying to remember if they actually had stores, but the brand Pittsburgh, back then, man, a lot of their stuff was junk. But I ended up buying a couple air tools, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't care if it's like 15, 20. I'm trying to remember how much. They were probably a little bit more expensive than 15, 20 bucks. But since I didn't need to use them all that often, I'm just like, hey, 10, 15 bucks or whatever it was at the time. You know, I'm like, I'm only going to use this a handful of times. So if they don't last too long, who cares? But you know, over the time, a lot of their tools have gotten pretty good. It depends on the tool, but sometimes, you know, some of their stuff is so cheap. You're just like, you know what? If it, you know, it's $10, and if I get, you know, 10 uses or whatever, right? Like you use it a couple of times and it finally breaks. It's just like, man, you could buy 10 of these, and it's like, all right, you know, the Snap-on one will last just as long as 10 of these other ones, and you're still kind of, you know, again, if you're a professional mechanic or whatnot, I get it. You know, you want something that probably lasts a lot longer, right? You're going to use your tools on a daily basis. A lot of tools you're going to want, but you know, if you're only going to be using them, it doesn't matter. But anyway, one of the things I'll get is, sorry. You know, I'm trying to remember. One of the things that I wanted to get, it's not this one. Oh, hang on. I think I probably shouldn't get it, but it's right here. It's like 170 bucks. You guys see this right here? Yeah, I got a blue one for the top. I wouldn't be in mind getting another one that's on wheels, and it has like 4. I could probably put all my impact sockets and all that in that toolbox, and then when I want to work on something, I can just roll it out and I'll have all my sockets at one time instead of going back and forth. But I have something like this, but it's not nearly as nice as this one here. It's a little bit longer, it's a little skinnier, but yeah, it's kind of cumbersome to move around. So anyway, that's one of the tools I really want to get. There's a whole bunch of other tools that I need to pick up, and the prices on some of these are really good. I probably should get a new compressor for 350 bucks for this one in particular. Is, what is it? Yeah, it's 28 gallons. Oh my lord. No, I'm sorry. The other one, I'm sorry. It's 27 gallons, so it's not 28. No, that's, oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on. That's 26. But it's a 200 PSI. Yeah, that's what you kind of need if you want. But, yeah, I have one that's leaking. I got to work on that. I don't use the compressor nearly as much. I got a couple electrical, or I'm sorry, a bunch of electric impacts. And you need more batteries for that, but I probably would. We're going to pass on that today, or I'm sorry, this year. Maybe we'll think about it next year, but I don't want to spend too much money. You guys know me, right? If anything, I probably spend, you know, I like I said, I use my tools, so at least I'm using them. Do I need most of these? No, but so I'm going to pick the ones that I know that I kind of need the most, or I know that I'm going to be using in the future. And some of these that are here are only going to be at this price probably now and then all the way to December. So I'll probably have another chance if I want to in December. So we're just going to kind of be a little choosy, right? I'm probably going to buy more than I need to, but I'm pretty sure I doubt I'll be spending more than $500. Oh my God, it's a lot of money. I don't know. Maybe it's not 500 bucks, but that's kind of what I'll put the limit on. So, what do you guys want to get if you guys like going to Harbor Freight? There's a lot of tools that are like under $5. And if I were you guys, I would pick this stuff up even if you're not necessarily the biggest. But they have a couple, like these nice utility knives, you know, for like $3. You know, get a handful of those. You know, I always keep one, like in each one of my cars. I try to keep one in there. You know, they got like screwdrivers, like one onesie twosie. You know, like a Phillips number 2 and a flathead for like $1. You know, pick up a couple of those. Keep them, you know, in your house somewhere. But I would say get things like that, or if you need some zip ties, you know, like here's like 100 zip ties of like 6 inches or 8 inches for like $1. Like I Some of these things used to be very expensive, right? A zip tie is a zip tie, right? You know, if you're worried about, you know, tariffs, then okay, buy it, you know, because a lot of this stuff ain't made here, but don't worry about tariffs, guys. They're just using it as a boogeyman. Prices are going up, inflation's still here, so they're just gonna use that. So sorry, I'm not like staring at you guys. I'm trying to find a good deal if you want to go there, but like even this magnetic tool thing, look at that, like $2. Can't quite see it, but yeah. If you guys want to do a video, in particular, like what tools I'd suggest as like a startup. Here's a battery pack for 65. So it's one of those jump battery packs. It's 1,000 peak amp lithium, and they're really small. I actually bought one. I think I got it for the same price. So I'm gonna probably buy one of those. So I'm gonna put the one I have in the Camaro, and then I'll put this other one probably in the HHR or whatnot. So I will buy one of those. That's actually a really good price. It doesn't have a compressor. I got a really old one that I have that does that. But they do have socket sets for like $170, and you get, man, it's 300 pieces. Here's another one, a little bit more pricier. But they got like, you know, real performance gloves for like $3. Or they have, I bought a package of them. They're like 10, and they're not like the thin silicone ones, but they're kind of like like more of a beefy, I'll call it like a garden one, where it's got like a little grippy on it, and I use one like when I'm working on the car, and I think last year I only went through 2 of them, and that's only because like on one I just got so much damn oil on it that, you know, I'm like right, but it doesn't wear out that fast. So I think it was like you got a dozen for like $10, and I still have most of them there. Yeah, here's these like magnetic dishes. Put like bolts and stuff in there. $2, right? And I got a couple of them, and I just put them underneath my one of my tool trays. And they're all magnetic. So yeah, there's a lot of little odds and ends I'm gonna be picking up. And there's they also have the Inside Track member. I actually got it right before Christmas, and I'm glad I did, because I think it's like $20 or $30 for the year, and there's certain items that are only on sale if they're Inside Track member. So I think I saved at least $200 just by being an Inside Track member. I think when I first got it, I saved like $15 for the first day. Then within a couple of weeks, I think I bought like one tool and saved like $40. So it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, here's like brushes. Like here's like nice shop brushes. There's lots of little ends, and here's like actually a speed square down here. I actually bought one. I think I got the same price, but that's like $5. So there's a lot of things that you should pick up. Here's like an adjustable wrench. Is that? Yeah, look at that. 3. Yeah, it's adjustable wrench for 3. Like I said, you should have some of these things. And again, like you get one of these maybe toolboxes. They're like $10. And just put all the tools that you need. That you need to do a lot of odds and ends around the house. Maybe you already got it, right? I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't, right? But I always try to. This is what's funny, right? I try to have like a little one of like maybe a handful of stuff. Like I have like, I got a basement in 2 levels, right? So I put the majority of my inside tools downstairs in a basement, but I always try to have like a couple, like, a little dinky hammer and like a couple of screwdrivers. I try to put it on the 2nd floor, so I have to keep going back and forth between all the levels, right? So yeah, with that said, guys, we're coming up here on the 20-minute thing. I just wanted to jump on and just say hi. I'm looking forward to this Harbor Freight thing. And if you guys got any recommendation, damn it, do you hear that? My damn neighbor's stupid car. Come on. And they bugged it. I'm loud. Jeez. Anyway, finally they just turned it off. What the hell was the guy doing? Anyway. That's not what we came here for, Frank. I know. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, guys, have a good day. If you guys want anything, you want to comment below what you should pick up. But real quick, it's yeah, Inside Trek members. It's between Monday through Thursday, and then everyone else starts next Friday. So I think next Friday is Good Friday, actually. And I think tomorrow at sundown is Passover. So there's Palm Sunday on Sunday, of course. And yeah, if you guys know about that, right? Have a good holiday. With that said, I will talk to y'all soon. Bye now.